Here we got a pair of 1973 wheel horse 16 automatic lawn tractors. These tractors come with an interesting story that they were purchased by a gentleman back in 1973 from the same dealer. He originally purchased this tractor early in the spring, liked it so much he went back later in the summer and purchased this one so we would have a matching pair. And while they are both 16 automatics, they do differ a little bit. I'll show you a couple of things that are different about them. This one is their earlier model. Again, they both have the 16 horse Kohler engine, single cylinder, Sunstrand automatic hydrostatic transmission, I should say, located down underneath there. There's a couple of subtle differences. The hydraulic control is different on this machine as it is on that one over there, just a little design change. This one apparently it seems to be more popular, but take your pick of which one you prefer. This one seems to fit my hand a little better. I'm a little more partial to this design. At one time I actually had this tractor looking showroom ready. When I purchased some 15 years ago, I used it for the winter, blowing snow, and did a rattle can Rust-Oleum paint job on it. Had it looking pretty nice, but ultimately these machines do like to be used, and I've been using the heck out of it over those years. I lent it to a friend at one time and it took a fall out of the back of a pickup and sustained some damage, so that it now looks much more heavily used as it has been. It's a great snow blowing machine. I use it every winter heavily. It handles the big drifts really nice, surprisingly for a single stage, but it really does well. I've got it set up now for mowing. I just kind of putz around the yard, do some trails, things like that. It's not my regular mower, but still enjoy getting out and riding around on it. And as for this other machine, I call this one Ralph. That's Ilene over there. They're named in honor of the original owners. I sold Ralph shortly after I purchased it. I think I used it for the first winter, and I sold it to somebody locally and had the opportunity to buy it back last year. Came back to me in pretty rough condition, albeit it did have a set of ags on the back and some weights, which was nice. It was non-running again, so I've been taking some time getting this back into running condition. Had quite a few things wrong with it. Had to do points, plug, coil, ignition cylinder, new seat, and I like the seat because I'm a taller fella. I like to have it. I not only have the springs underneath there, but I've got a little lift on there to give myself a little boost, make it a little more comfortable. Had to put a new steering shaft in it. The old one was missing a couple of teeth and skipping, so I purchased a used shaft off of eBay. Came off of a C160, and interestingly I thought that they would be the same size, but I ended up having to cut a little length off and drill a different hole to make it fit, but retain the same steering ratio and everything else is the same. But these have been tremendous machines. When they're running, they're really dependable. The automatic clutch on both of them. Some fellas are partial to the electric clutch. Some would prefer the manual for engagement. It does snap pretty quick, so I can see where it might have a tendency to be harder on belts and equipment. I have not had that problem yet. Of course, the one thing about the automatic feature is the automatic drive, hydrostatic, with the control right down in your crotch. Take it or leave it. I've had the pleasure of driving a C160, excuse me, again, where it has the control here on the side, and that seems to be more comfortable, especially if you're running equipment. When you're mowing, that's one story. You can just set it in position and go. But if you're, say, operating a blade as you might be on this machine, or if you've got a snowblower, you're trying to operate the hydraulic lever as well as, so you've got your left hand on there, you've got your right hand down here trying to go forwards and backwards, and you're steering with your teeth essentially, or your knees going back and forth trying to keep the machine straight. So I've considered retrofitting these to that lever control, or even the optional foot control. There's some kits out there you can purchase nowadays that would allow a foot control, and that might be a good way to go. What else can I tell you? That's about it, I think. I see a lot of YouTube has videos on their wheel horses, and I thought these were an interesting pair. They have a cool story, but they were bought by the same guy in the same year, way back in the day, and here they are, 40 some years later, still running strong. If you go back on my older videos, you might even see a little video I did of Ilene after I'd done a paint job. I think I mistakenly call it a C160. I knew so little about the machines, but there's some great resources out there if you want to familiarize yourself and learn about the wheel horses. Red Square website was fantastic for me. Great bunch of guys, and they're really good about sharing their wisdom and keeping the tradition alive with these machines. So I can tell you that's one thing you should do if you're considering, or if you're new to the wheel horses and you want to learn about them. Redsquare.com. And I think that's about it. Maybe I'll post a follow-up or do some more on these after I get them cleaned up. These are my wheel horse 16 autos. Hope you guys liked it.